Hello, my name is Charlotte, and today I'm going to be going over some helpful tips for how to make the transition between two card programs in Abacus. The goal of this exercise is to replace your current card program and cards with a new connection, and in so doing, just making sure that this transition is as smooth as possible. So as you can see here, I've already connected a new card program in our account, and you can see that you can see the difference between the new program and the old program by looking at this connected on date. So here's this new program that has 5 unassigned cards, and this old program connected last year has the cards that are currently assigned. So what we're going to do is just one by one for each card, connect a new card and then get rid of the old card. So let's start with one. So I'm going to click Assign Cards, and let's start with Josh. So I'm going to assign Josh his new corporate card and click Save. And now you can see Josh has 2 cards in his account. There's the old card back in 2015, and then the new card that we just added. So the goal here is to first have Josh submit as much as he can on the original card, such that there are only a couple left. And now we're going to skip any of the new card transactions on the new card so that no duplicate transactions are submitted. So this is a pretty easy one because there are only 3 unexpensed transactions. So what I'm going to do is just expand his new card and skip everything except for these transactions. So here are all the transactions on the new card, and I see the 49, the 230, and then there's also an 810 expense that we're going to leave in the account as well. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and skip everything else besides those 3 transactions. And just bear with me here as I skip everything that's already been submitted for Josh. Almost done. Okay, so now on his 2 cards, there are both 3 transactions left in the same amounts. And now I'm going to go to his old card and I'm going to unassign it. So now all that's left for Josh are the 3 transactions that still need to be submitted, and there's no risk of Josh submitting a card transaction that has already been submitted. So he is done. Another thing that you can do that might be helpful is run a report of everything that's already been submitted in a given time period, which will help you know which transactions that you need to skip on the new cards. So just to show you an example, let's do Omar's card next. So he only has 2 unexpensed transactions, so this one would be pretty easy to do. But just so I can show you, we're going to now assign Omar's card to him. All right, so now Omar has 2 cards assigned in the account, his old card and his new card. So to make it easier to know which ones in this list you needed to skip, you can also create a search and do a CSV export of all of Omar's corporate card expenses that have already been submitted, and that's how you'll know which ones to skip. So I'll go back to my inbox, and I'm going to search for expenses last month. Actually, I'm going to just reset. Okay, so expenses last month, user Omar, And I also want to specify, also want to specify corporate card only. So I'm going to say is not reimbursable for corporate cards. And then I'm actually going to do a custom date range. And this date range can match up with the date range of new card transactions on the new card program. So in this case, it goes back to November 1st through November 31st. So here's everything that's already been submitted on the corporate card. These are the ones that we want to skip. I'm going to select them all, click Export, and then Export to CSV. And I'm going to open up that CSV export. And here are all of Omar's card transactions that have already been submitted. So these are the ones that we want to skip. So I'm going to go back to the Team Cards page. And I'll scroll down to Omar. And here on his new card that was connected in 2016 on November, I would just go through and this list and say, okay, here are all the November transactions that have already been submitted. Zapier, here's Zapier for 15, skip that, and so on and so forth. In this case, because there are only two cards or two transactions that haven't been submitted yet, it would be pretty easy to just go through and skip everything except for those two transactions at the top. So we would definitely encourage you to tell your employees with corporate cards to go through and please clear out their outstanding transactions so that it makes this transition simpler for you and there are fewer or it's just a simpler transition to make when you can go through and just skip anything that's already been submitted. So that is the way that you can, card by card, go ahead and transition each card from the old program and replace it with a new card in the new program. Once each card has been assigned and the old card has been unassigned, you can go ahead and just delete the old program by just clicking Delete Program. And at the end of the day, your users or your card holders will see just their regular corporate card in their account, and the only transactions that they will see are the ones that they still need to submit. So hopefully this was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to support@abacus.com, and we'd be happy to help you with this transition.